Here we go. Day 7. My last entry. 27th of July, 2012. Show day. I wake early and have breakfast in the wheelhouse, drinking big bowls of coffee as we watch the Olympic flames sail past on the river on the Gloriana, heading towards Greenwich on the last part of her journey. Makes me feel very proud to be part of the great Olympic adventure. The next time I see the torch, it will be carried by Steve Redgrave into the stadium to light the cauldron. I take the tube to Stratford, make my way into the park. 200 metres from the stadium, standing on the wide and half-empty concourse, I hear a buzz on my phone, and it's an email from Piers Shepherd, our technical director. It's a beautifully written and heartfelt note to the whole crew, a genuine thank you and an acknowledgement of what we have achieved together over the last 18 months. The strain and the exhaustion of these last few weeks suddenly bursts inside me, and I suddenly find myself in tears, heaving great sobs of emotion as I stand by myself on the bridge with my back to the crowd streaming into the stadium, all of course oblivious to everything that's brought us to this moment. It just all feels so huge and somehow even important, properly so. And these feelings have conspired to well up and manifest themselves in this very physical way. Pride, excitement, relief, and more than anything, the acknowledgement of fate. Despite the tears, it's not an unpleasant feeling, just a very real one. Inside the stadium, I feel quite calm as I walk around backstage, meeting and talking to various colleagues, bigging up the team for the final time, talking to the volunteer follow spot operators who are now proud professionals and who stand themselves on the launchpad of their careers. This experience has been hugely important to them, the ultimate intern work placement. It's tense, but feels positive with people smiling rather than grimacing. In the afternoon, there's a last rehearsal of the young athletes who will carry on the torch that will be taken around the stadium from Steve Redgrave. 5 o'clock, I smoke a cigarette with some of the show stars' stagehands who have been doing general work during the build at the stadium. Now each of them has been given a performance role so they can be part of the ceremony. I ask one of them what his job is, and he tells me he'll be one of the small groups standing directly under the flaming rings and the rainstorm of burning coals that will fall down on them. What a piece of history. It starts to rain around 5:30. How could it not after all these days of miserable weather? But it's a last gasp attempt to mess with us, and an hour later the sun comes out, the huge crowd cheers, and we're off to the races. Peter Gabriel calls on his way into the stadium. He sends love and good vibrations for the evening, a proper friend. Lovely text from Cameron McIntosh with poetic words of encouragement. One from Mick in France, break a leg. Then they start to roll in literally every few seconds, messages from family and friends and colleagues from all over the world. Good luck, it's going to be great, we're all thinking of you. Even don't fuck it up. It's enormously encouraging. Only one of them alludes in any way to the fear of failure that still rankles and which has been my constant companion over the last months. It's from one of my closest friends, theatre producer Nick Allett, and it begins unashamedly with, "Just remember, Patrick, that whatever happens tonight," and then goes on to say what a special place I'm in, how this is the culmination of a career, and how proud I should be with our achievement. Down to the control room for the last time, tense but positive, I chat to Stephen Daldry, still full of humour and encouragement and acknowledgement of the surreal quality of the moment. Danny seems very calm, but his reliable and stoic producer Tracy is unusually stressed with some last-minute crisis. I check the royal box for the last time, now full of handsome coppers and quiet men in suits. Also some of our production assistants, who are now all dressed to the nines in smart grey costumes, ready to brief the Queen on her arrival. Our very nice deaf signer teaches me to sign, "I declare the games of the 42nd Olympiad open." I pop outside the control room to call Lucy and the girls who are in the stands below me, and it's thrilling to see the stadium now completely full and buzzing with excitement. It's 7:56, 4 minutes to go. My tummy also going a bit now, but there's light-hearted banter inside the control room from the team and a quiet confidence as last checks are being made. We've come so far together, and now, right now, at this very instant, it's about to begin. Crew Chief Rich Gorham sits quietly ready to troubleshoot. "Here we go," calls out Tim, looking at the large screen monitor that's been playing the real-time BBC coverage in the background next to the live feed from the stadium. Suddenly the two screens are in sync. "We're live to air," he says, and we're off. It's still daylight when we begin, so our artificial lights begin to read very gradually against the slowly darkening sky. We call this magic hour, and tonight it is with good reason. It's also a blessing as we can make our adjustments delicately without risking any visible mess-ups. Our assistant Miriam runs the script for us and calmly acknowledges the LX cues sent from the control room by show caller Julia. Terry is talking constantly as he gives the coded cues to the army of follow spot operators. Al Gurdon makes quiet observations on a camera flare or a light out of balance, and Tim and his team make fine adjustments on the fly. The green and pleasant land slowly transforms into the dark satanic mills as the evening light falls. On our headsets, we listen to Julia talking directly to Kenneth Branagh on his in-ear monitors. The close-up on the screen shows him, in character as Isambard Kingdom Brunel, staring dramatically over the extraordinary transformation taking place in front of him, while in his ear Julia is holding him until the horses clear stage left. Stand by, wait, then go Ken! And he launches into his opening speech, giving it the full Laurence Olivier. He finishes, and immediately Julia responds on the open channel, "Good lad, Ked, good lad." The enormous applause at the end of the piece resonates across the world. Then the helicopter, a big moment for us, with perfect timing required as the powerful searchlight we are using to light the aircraft has no dimmer and must be fired up in real time to hit the chopper at precisely the right time. The moment in the video when the real Queen is revealed causes an audible gasp from the audience. The filmed helicopter transforms perfectly into the live one that appears over the stadium. We hear the pilot, Mark Wolfe, our neighbour on the pier, report into stadium control with his James Bond code words. "We are overhead with Thunderball, jumpers ready," and then the countdown from Julia in one ear and Dawn, the RAF controller, in the other. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, roll VT, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. Enormous applause as the James Bond theme roars out of the speakers, and then Mark, one last time with obvious pride and relief in his voice, returning to base, shaken but not stirred. Huge crowds cheers in our control room, drowned out by those of the crowd outside. Then the NHS with all the mad dancing and the crescendo of the Mary Poppins all flying in to save the day. Everyone loves Simon Rattle and Mr. Bean. Then a night out in the town, a bit of a mess with all those thousands of extras and changes in mood and pace, but all gloriously so. And the inflatable house makes it up in time for the first and only time. The entrance of the athletes, and we're halfway through now and still breathing. We all have a break of 45 minutes while the countries file in, and we are all looking at our phones and our emails. More and more texts coming in from friends and family all over the world. Brilliant, beautiful, well done. It's extraordinarily touching, with many of them from other lighting designers and colleagues. It's genuinely as if our work is a contribution from our whole industry, and everyone is sharing in the thrill of it. During the athletes' parade, there is time to go outside and drink in the atmosphere in the stadium. I stay outside for the entrance of the British team to a background of David Bowie's Heroes, and acres of gold foil confetti drop from a Merlin aircraft that passes over the stadium precisely on cue. Go, Julia! Then the big protocol moments. Muhammad Ali looks very shaky as the Olympic flag passes him. Another of the Olympics looks as though he's taken too much nerve-steadying alcohol. Then the arrival of the Olympic flame down the Thames. This is the project of our new assistant Terry Cook, who's in the control room calling the follow spots. He's beaming with pride as David Beckham whizzes under Tower Bridge underneath a waterfall of pyrotechnics. Then into the stadium, and the glorious moment of the dark blue track turning to gold as the group of athletes pass around it. It's a critical time for Tim as he has to hit 60 cues in perfect synchronization with the progress of the runners on the track. And he manages this despite my standing next to him, slapping him on the back in time to the music as I whoop with delight. The final moment of tension is the erection and lighting of the cauldron. Will the gas lines all be connected? Will each of the 170 hydraulic shells, rise up in time? Of course they will. And in perfect unison to the voice of Junior calling out, "Full burn, go full burn," as the cauldron is formed. Then Paul McCartney looking perfectly handsome, and finally the ethereal sounds of the Pink Floyd and the fireworks, and suddenly it's over. Big hugs and congratulations all around, but I leave the stadium quickly to escape the crowds and make my way to Canary Wharf, where our friend Craig's Dutch barge is waiting to take me back up the river to Cadogan Pier. The girls are all waiting for me there. Craig pours the champagne, and as she wraps her arms around my neck, my daughter Alice gives me a Cadbury's Olympic gold medal made of chocolate. I realise I haven't eaten in 12 hours and wolf it down like Homer Simpson. That's it. I still get really moved by that. It was such a big deal. Now, you know, most of the shows we do, they're important, really important at the time, pressure and all that stuff. And they're just another show, really, in a long line of other shows. But this was something different. And I think mainly for the scale of it, mainly for the fact that, you know, most of the people in the world saw it, many of the people in the world saw it, more than a filmed rock concert or event. But more it was the journey. The last day was fantastic, and I remember waking up the next morning just with this enormous sense of relief, which was a higher of all highs, almost better than the night itself, I think. But it was the journey leading up to it, right from the very beginning, putting our team together, seeing the decisions being made, seeing everything come to life, programming, a lot of pressure, getting it right, getting it wrong, getting it right again. And just this feeling of camaraderie among the whole cast and crew, but particularly among the small group of people who lived in our control room for all those times. I hope you've enjoyed it, and all be safe. Bye.